Due to a crash, I have 2 leaky fork seals on my dirt bike, and I'm going to try to quickly and easily clean them out using this tool, a seal mate. To start off, I'm going to take off the brake line bracket and then the shroud. Now that I have the guards off, I'm going to clean the fork tube here because there's lots of grit on there from the earlier race, and I'm going to just make sure it's nice and shiny clean. Another thing I forgot to mention is you want to make sure and clean the dust seal on the fork as well. So now that I've gotten the fork and the dust seal as clean as to the best of my ability, I'm going to take a screwdriver, not too sharp of a screwdriver because we don't want to dent or cut into the fork here, and a mallet. And I'm going to go into this little crack between the upper fork and the seal, and I'm going to just pound lightly to separate the seal from the fork. So another thing to take into thought is you want to just only pound lightly and consistently all the way around the edge, because you don't want to torque it at all, and you want it to come down evenly. Alright, there we go. Now it's popped loose. So we're going to go ahead and pull this all the way down to the bottom so it's out of the way. And then we're going to take our rag again and we're going to clean the whole fork all over again. Up to the very top here. Okay, so using this seal mate seal tool, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up into the fork, kind of curved at this angle, and I'm going to push it up almost to the top of this sticker. And then I'm going to curve it down like that to where the seal is going about right here. And then holding my hands around the fork like this, I'm going to go around in a circular motion all the way around the fork until I'm done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to curve it back down like this again so that all the crud that's in there gets caught in this hook, and then I'm going to pull it down quickly to get it all out. So I can feel it go in, and then I'm just going to push it up to the top, just about to this sticker, and then I'm going to curve it down vertically, grab it, and I'm going to go around in a circle. Okay, so now that I'm done, I usually go around 2 to 3 times. I'm going to take it like this, and I'm going to curve it up, and I'm going to pull it down. So as you can see, there's not a whole bunch of crud that's visible, but there is oil. So I'm going to go ahead, clean that off so that no other grit gets on there and sticks to there. And then I'm going to clean it with a rag. So with a partner or by yourself, if you're able to, you're going to compress the forks by holding down the front brake and going forward. And you're going to compress the forks rigorously from 8 to 10 times. What that does is that rubs the seal up and down on the fork and helps get any more crud just up to the surface. That way it's easier to get out. If you can see here, this line of oil right here gauges whether the seal is still leaking. So in this case, when we went up and down with the forks, it pushed more oil out, so that means that the forks are still leaking. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off, make sure there's no more oil, and we're going to clean the seal again with this tool and do it again. Alright, so every time we push down on it, there seems to be less and less oil, and this time there's no oil at all. So if there continues to be more and more oil, or the same amount of oil every time you do it, there's a large possibility that you damage the seal, and you will have to pull the forks apart and replace stuff in there. But for this instance, looks like we fixed it. So we're going to go ahead and put the bike back on the stand and put the seal back in. Here we have the bike back up on the stand, and just to be sure, we're going to wipe away any dust or anything that got run on the fork. We're going to run it all the way down to the bottom and all the way up to the top, make sure there's nothing on there. And now we're going to just gently pull the seal up and then back down, see if there's any crud that it caught, and wipe that off. And then put it back up and gently pop it back into there. May have to take it out a couple times if you'd put it in there unevenly like I just did there. Okay, so here I've got it pretty much all the way up as far as I can with my hands. So now I'm going to take my mallet and I'm going to just gently pound it up and make sure it's all the way up to the fork. I want to do that all the way around. And it looks like that's in there pretty good. Okay, so this fork is done. Hopefully we fixed it. We're going to see after a couple days if it's still leaking. But for this instance, what we've done is finished with this fork. And so now we're going to go on to the next fork. So at this point, if it had kept leaking, we would probably have to pull the forks apart and probably replace some things in there. If I make it start leaking again, we will probably have to end up doing that.